Woohoo! Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Anna Vanston, and the Super Mario Bros. Movie just came out and absolutely lived up to its trailer hype. There's no time to faff about because this movie is packed and we've got limited time to squeeze out all the good Mario juice out of it. Mario juice is extra pulpy. By the way, to save time and effort, I'll be saying bros instead of brothers in all of the titles for this video. Now let's dive into that pulpy Mario juice. We open with a classic fire versus ice situation as Bowser's airship spews lava onto the ice below while menacingly making its way towards the Ice Kingdom, which is an original kingdom to the movie, but the Aurora Borealis and desolate wasteland vibes are super reminiscent of the frosted glacier world in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. As we get our first good look at the ship, the music playing is called Bowser's Airship theme, originating from Super Mario Bros. 3. And now's a good time to say that they used so many songs from the games in this movie that it would be impossible to list them all in this video, but I'll toss in a few here and there. Then Bowser's right-hand man throughout the games, Kamek, appears, and you can see some of the Koopas holding flags, which are the flags of unbeaten levels in several of the games. When the penguins attack, the red Koopa with the eye patch slips up and lifts it and shows that it's a purely aesthetic eye patch. Kids these days in their fashion, man. Bowser steals what he later calls the superstar from this kingdom, indicating that while stars are somewhat abundant in the Mario games, they are at the very least a rarity in this universe. We are then treated to the piece of artwork that is the Super Mario Bros. Plumbing commercial, which is a song that originated from the Super Mario Super Show. During the commercial, the logo on the truck matches the new Super Mario Bros. Wii logo. The brothers are shown wearing yellow capes, which is an homage to the power you get from the cape feather in Super Mario World, and also the phone number and website listed are both real, and the website has tons of cute Easter eggs in and of itself. The commercial ends and we're shown the inside of Punch-Out Pizzeria, a reference to the game Punch-Out, which is appropriate seeing as the walls are lined with Punch-Out memorabilia, including photos of several of the Punch-Out boxers like Glass Joe, Bear Hugger, Little Mac and Doc, and many more. Thrown in are also some pictures of the NES game Duck Hunt, which there will be plenty more nods to later. The news report displays the headline that Mayor Pauline has been re-elected. Pauline, who we also see in a later news report, was first seen in the arcade game Donkey Kong, but later graduated to mayor of New Donk City in Super Mario Odyssey. Anyways, Mario and Luigi debate over whether or not their Italian accents in the commercial were too much, when the character Giuseppe, dressed suspiciously like an older Mario, says, "Too much? It's a perfect." I can't do the accent. This character is voiced by none other than Charles Martinet, who is the original voice actor for Mario in the games. Martinet also voices Mario's dad in the movie, which is a touching handoff. Giuseppe goes back to playing an arcade cabinet that is meant to represent Donkey Kong, but is instead named Jumpman, which is what Mario's name was back when Donkey Kong was released. We're then introduced to Spike, Mario and Luigi's former manager, who works at a company called the Wrecking Crew. But this isn't coming out of thin air. Wrecking Crew was an NES game where Mario and Luigi worked on a demolition team, and a bearded foreman named Spike would try to disrupt the brothers and make them fall. Can't blame them for leaving a company where the boss was actively trying to stop them from doing their jobs. Luigi gets a call and we hear that his ringtone is the GameCube starting screen sound, and the unknown caller picture is an outline of the standard male Nintendo Mii character. As Mario and Luigi jump into the truck, next to the pizzeria is Sunshine Travel Agency, a reference to Super Mario Sunshine, in which Mario and Peach flew to Isle Delfino, which is shaped like a dolphin. As the truck stalls and they get out to run, we can see that their license plate spells Mario Bros. In the following shots, we get a couple of references to the game Game & Watch, first on the truck behind them and then on a construction sign. When they're running through the construction site, it switches to a 2D perspective like in the original games, and the entrance of the construction site actually mimics level 1-1 of Super Mario Bros. When Mario jumps onto the pole and slides down in the end, the sound the goal pole makes in the game plays, and it is no coincidence that Burger Castle, a red castle-shaped building, is right where the castle would be at the end of the level. The brothers make it to their job, and this luxury apartment has more Easter eggs than meets the eye. The leftmost painting looks suspiciously like Tetris blocks, and the paintings with blue and green squares are very possibly referencing some of the background tiles from Super Mario Bros. 3. There's also a painting at the end of the hall with the dog from Duck Hunt. Another small detail in this scene are the bottles in the shower. One says Shine, a reference to the Shine sprites in Super Mario Sunshine, and I believe some of the others say Zune, which is the pseudonym of a Japanese game developer who credits Super Mario Bros. As having a huge influence on him. Cutting back to the living room, we see a couple more Easter eggs with the Brooklyn Bridge and One World Trade Center in the background, a glass statuette of a Pikmin, and a book the guy is reading called Galaxy with a planet on it, clearly a reference to Super Mario Galaxy. Before we move on, there is so much in the human world that echoes what we see later in the Mushroom Kingdom, so let's do a speed round of foreshadowing moments. This small flag figurine behind them that looks like a green goal pole, the gold star on this kid's hat, a truck starting montage which is mirrored later with the carts, Green grocery having fruit stands out front and this cheeky sticker. All the crates and scaffolding with green pipes scattered throughout. This picture of a crown. Mario hurtling and saying Mamma Mia in slow motion. And Luigi using the mirror to push back against the water stream, much like in the final fight. And the Easter eggs don't stop as we head back to Mario and Luigi's house. The coat hooks they hang their hats on look like little mushrooms, and their house is decked out in cozy and familial decor that starkly contrasts the modern, somewhat sterile decor of the previous scene. The family leans heavily into their Italian roots with red, white, and green walls, a poster of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and an Italian flag banner with a soccer ball on it. There are also trophies on the mantle for things like bowling and racing. And on the bookshelf are figurines of sheep and sombreros, a nod to the sheep in the Sand Kingdom of Super Mario Odyssey. The last decor detail in this room that I want to point out is the base of their phone is reminiscent of a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. Next we move on to Mario's bedroom, which feels fast, but hey. Mario is playing Kid Icarus on the NES and is clearly a sports game fan looking at all of the posters and pictures around the room. You can see references to NES games golf, tennis, NES pro wrestling featuring Starman facing off against the Amazon, baseball, kung fu, and track and field. He also has a poster of F-Zero, an SNES game, and the polar bear from Ice Climbers for the NES. Other gaming references in his room include an R-Wing model from Star Fox, a tennis racket acknowledging his tennis hobby, and the book The Odyssey on his headboard, an allusion to Super Mario Odyssey. While Mayor Pauline is talking on the news, the scrolling headlines make reference to the game Wave Race 64 and mention crabs in the sewers, likely pulling from the Mario Bros. Arcade game in which crabs would come out of pipes in the sewers. Running through the streets outside, we see a French restaurant called Chasse au Canard, which is duck hunt in French. As the brothers go into the sewer and break through the wall, the hole they make is in the shape of an 8-bit Mario head. As they walk down the staircase, a sign that says level 1-2 is on the wall, referencing level 1-2 of Super Mario Bros. In which they are underground, and fittingly, the underground theme song plays. Mario bursts out of a pipe stemming from an archway, the red brick perfectly merging the world he came from with the Mushroom Kingdom, where red bricks are a bit more emblematic. And thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Movies and TV can be great escapism, but when it's time to face things head on, BetterHelp is here to help. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it is 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, just answer a few questions about what you're looking for from therapy and what your preferences are. BetterHelp will then match you with a therapist from their network that's right for you. After that, talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. BetterHelp gives you the same level of professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/newrockstars. That's BETTERHELP.com/newrockstars for 10% off your first month of therapy. Toad's backpack is full of adventuring gear, making fans speculate that he might be the future Captain Toad from previous Mario games. His bag also has decorative pins that show Princess Peach's castle, the upside-down pyramid in the Sand Kingdom from Mario Odyssey, and the dinosaur from Cascade Kingdom of the same game. Toad says that Mario's brother has landed in the Darklands, Darkland also being the final world of Super Mario Bros. 3 where Bowser's main castle stands. And when Mario gets a look at the castle and surrounding land for the first time, inside the castle walls from Super Mario 64 plays. We also see several dome-like rock formations, which is referencing the capsule-shaped hills seen in the background of many Mario games. Luigi, unfortunately, isn't having as good of a time, but one fun fact is that when he hits the dry bones, a sting from the Fortress theme from Super Mario Bros. 3 plays, and in that same scene you'll get a taste of the Luigi's Mansion theme. Then we make it to Toad Town, which I'm referring to as Toad Town because pretty consistently throughout the games, the town right outside of Peach's castle is called Toad Town, and the lampposts and ground coloring is the same as Paper Mario's Toad Town. So there. Now please allow me to be your personal tour guide for Toad Town. I will hold the dinging of the missable details till the end so you don't go mad. The most prominent foods you'll find in Toad Town are fruits that are straight out of Super Mario Sunshine, as well as Yoshi's Story, and sweets, possibly because of the various dessert-themed levels featured throughout the series. And if all that sugar from fruits and desserts don't give you Toad levels of energy, don't worry because there are coffee shops everywhere. Admire the Fountain of 4 Cheep Cheeps. Stop by the pie shop, the fish shop, the ATMs with the treasure chest symbol from Super Mario Bros. 3 over them, the weapons shop, the Crazy Cap store from Super Mario Odyssey, this shop with a POW barrel, this shop with what looks to be maybe turnips and radishes from Super Mario Bros. 2, the antique shop, the... what? You want to know what's in the antique shop? Okay. You got axes from Super Mario Bros. And an open sign that looks like the title screen, a dragon coin from Super Mario World, treasure chest from Super Mario Bros. 3, keys from a few of the Mario games, a pixelated version of a Super Bell, a boomerang flower, an NES cartridge the Toad is holding that the shopkeeper says he has to blow into.
Does this thing work?
Yes, when you break it, you just have to blow into it.
Referencing how it was a popular theory back in the day that if a game cartridge wasn't working, you should blow into it to get it to work again. A chest full of coins, a hammer from Super Mario Bros. 3, a sign with the coin cost of a Tanuki suit, a mushroom, and a super leaf, a poster of the end of World 1-3 of Super Mario Bros., a POW block, or maybe a skull box from Super Mario World, hard to tell, exclamation blocks, possibly a mannequin hand holding a warp whistle from Super Mario Bros. 3, more stickers on the shelf in the middle that depict more Super Mario Bros. Scenes, magic potions from Super Mario Bros. 2, a music box from Super Mario Bros. 3, a Yoshi egg lamp, a poster of Princess Peach from her letters in Super Mario Bros. 3, P-Wings from the same game, P-Balloons from Super Mario World, P-Switches and Clouds from Super Mario Bros. 3, Springs from Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, and Anchors from Super Mario Bros. 3. Other Toad Town must-sees are a poster of a band with Toadette in it, a purple toad named Chanterelle, which is the same name of the singer in Club 64 in Paper Mario, and a Cheep Cheep that gives Mario a death glare, seemingly joking that enemies just naturally have something against Mario. Check out our Builder Toads, first seen in Super Mario Maker, a map of the Mushroom Kingdom in a Super Mario World world map style, and a map in the style of Super Mario Bros. 3, as you can tell by the coin checkpoints. Alright, tour's over. That's 47 missable details for Toad Town. And Mario runs off the platform in the same distinctive way he runs in Super Mario 3D World. 48. Now, like I said, the number of songs from the game in this movie soundtrack is wild, but this particular scene has an insane number of songs. The only one I'll take the time to call out is an extremely subtle line of the underwater theme from Super Mario Bros. That plays when the Cheep Cheep mean mugs Mario. For the rest of the songs and sound effects in the scene, you'll have to check out my breakdown of when this clip came out. We've got to get to the castle. At the castle gates, the Toad guards tell Mario that the princess is in another castle, a throwback to the famous line from Super Mario Bros. The throne room of the castle is most similar to Mario Odyssey in its layout, and the main stained glass installation is the exact same design as the one in Odyssey. Some details here: the cloud design in the stained glass, sun detailing on the floor, and checkered pattern on the floor are seen in several of the games. The candelabras have bulbs that have the slight shape of the original fire flowers, and throughout the castle are paintings that have adventuring toads scattered throughout them. Peach's Toad Council gathers around an interactive map, and we can see all the lands that they end up traveling through, plus an island that looks like an N64 controller. Peach decides to go to the Jungle Kingdom. Not calling it Donkey Kong Country, huh? But first, the training grounds. Few quick fun details here. The flagpole is styled after the gold pole design originally from New Super Mario Bros. And when Peach reaches the goal, the signature sound plays. She then floats down with her dress, and while in earlier games she was able to hover without an umbrella, Super Mario 3D World was the first game where she used her dress to float like this. The lights around the starting platform resemble the super crowns from New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and this fish is me at 3 AM writing this breakdown. On to Bowser's Castle, the troops are partying it up, and among them are Koopas, Paratroopas, Swoops, Piranha Plants, Drybones, Shy Guys, Sniffets, Spinies, Bob-ombs, Goombas, Hammer Bros, Sledge Bros, Buzzy Beetles, and Chain Chomps. There's a band of Koopas with their faces painted to possibly pay homage to Kiss, but also look like they're painted to look like Drybones. Bowser is notoriously self-obsessed, and his throne being literally him sitting proves this point. We cut back to Luigi and are treated to a flashback featuring Baby Mario and Luigi, with notably some turtles in the background. Baby Mario and Luigi were both first seen in Yoshi's Island, and Baby Peach debuted later in Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. Meanwhile, Mario, Peach, and Toad leave the castle and we get a travel montage. They first cross a field representing Bob-omb Battlefield from Super Mario 64, with the cannon surrounded by rocks, a wooden ramp with a box by it, and a floating island with a tree. Then they cross a bridge with Cheep Cheeps flying at them, likely an ode to the Cheep Cheep Bridge in World 2-3 of Super Mario Bros. Or World 6-1 of Super Mario 3D Land. Then there's a desert that appears to be influenced by the Sand Kingdom from Super Mario Odyssey, judging by the upside-down floating pyramid islands, half-buried pillars with vibrant colors like Tostarena Town, and cacti. We get just a tease of Yoshi's Island that looks a lot like New Yoshi's Island and the Yoshi Village from Paper Mario, where Mario eats an apple, notoriously Yoshi's favorite fruit, and finally they end up on the cliffsides that distinctly resemble the rock structures from rock candy mines in New Super Mario Bros. U. We then get treated to a Bowser solo called Peaches that was, maybe unsurprisingly, written by Jack Black, along with directors Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelinek, and editor and additional voice actor Eric Osmond. Fun fact, John Spiker, who plays bass for Tenacious D, played the piano for Peaches. And when Bowser and Kamek jam together, they play the underground theme again. Cutting back to the trio in a field of fire flowers, Mario takes off his hat to talk about about how worried he is about his brother. While in a few of the games, Mario is physically more vulnerable when he doesn't have his hat via taking more damage, he is emotionally more vulnerable when his hat is off here. Peach gains the Fire Flower power-up and her dress changes to her Fire Peach dress seen in the games. And in response to Mario suggesting she's from his world, Peach says it's a huge universe out there with a lot of galaxies, teasing a potential Mario Galaxy sequel in the future. Speaking of Galaxy, we then meet an adorably nihilistic Luma that we can actually tell is a Luma Lee by its light blue color and the little cowlick at the top of its head. How it got here is a mystery, but where a Luma Lee is, Rosalina can't be far behind. But for now, the trio arrive at the Jungle Kingdom. As they stare up at the entrance that is straight out of Donkey Kong Country Returns, DK Island swing from the first level of Donkey Kong Country plays. The memories. They take off towards the throne room in a cart that has a rhino on the front, a reference to Rambi the Rhino from the Donkey Kong series. They use the cart glider that first appeared in Mario Kart 7 to fly into a temple styled after the Golden Temple from Donkey Kong Country Returns. We then find out from Cranky Kong that Donkey Kong is his son, which switches up the family tree a bit since in the games Donkey Kong would be his grandson. But he's also a friggin' king now, so. In the hallway when Mario is about to enter the ring is a training dummy that looks like a Naughty from Donkey Kong Country, and the stadium itself is decked out in red scaffolding, blue letters, and barrels just like the original Donkey Kong, which is fitting because Cranky Kong is canonically the original Donkey Kong from that game. The absolutely flawless DK rap from Donkey Kong 64 plays as Donkey Kong enters the arena, and we see that Dixie, Diddy, and Chunky Kong are in the audience. DK says it's on like Donkey Kong, a line originally from a song by Ice Cube but now trademarked by Nintendo. As DK beats Mario's mushrooms to a pulp, the side shot we get almost mimics the 2D view of Super Smash Bros. And speaking of, now would be a good time to point out that this movie has stayed faithful to a lot of the characters' game moves. Donkey Kong's roll attack, Cat Mario's diving attack, Mario's jumping punch pose, there are too many to list, but they did an amazing job. And the same goes for Mario's classic expressions. There are so many Mario-isms, the Mamma Mia's, It's-a-me's, Wahoos, etc., etc. Very good. Peach and Mario talk outside a hut that is almost identical to the Kong treehouse in Donkey Kong Country Returns, and there's a rocking chair outside as a nod to Cranky Kong's rocking chair in the games. Inside, there's a world map in the style of Super Mario World, along with several pictures and posters of different kart mechanics and trophies, and a picture of Funky Kong surfing. They then head to the kart warehouse, where one of the mechanics has a 64 on his shirt, perhaps a reference to Diddy Kong Racing 64. We can also see some banana barrels from Mario Kart Tour installed into the carts that are utilized later. The trio go to their kart making stations with kart selectors straight out of Mario Kart 8. Mario gets a version of his standard kart from Mario Kart Wii, Peach gets a bike most similar to her mock bike and has changed into her killer Mario Kart biker outfit, Toad is rocking a monster truck most similar to the Tiny Titan, and DK is driving a kart that vaguely resembles the Bolt Buggy from Mario Kart 7 with rocket barrels from DK Country Returns attached. Mario and DK actually later ride this barrel through the sky the same way it's used in the game. We then see Bowser rehearsing his wedding, and part of what we later see is his full wedding attire from Super Mario Odyssey, and he holds the same bouquet of lilies and piranha plants that Peach had in the same game. He's practicing with Kamek dressed as Peach, which oddly enough isn't the first time, seeing as Kamek also dressed as Peach in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Honestly, I don't know what's going on here, but I support it. Then we're gracefully given a beautiful and action-packed Rainbow Road scene, Rainbow Road being the most famous course in the Mario Kart series. The classic theme plays as they drive down the path, and several details from the game are displayed during their race with the Koopas. As Mario drifts, the sparks from his car go from blue to orange to purple, which in the games represent the size of the boost you get from drifting. The tires turning sideways for anti-gravity mode was introduced in Mario Kart 8, and we also get a haha here, Marioisms. The blue Koopa turns into a spiny shell, an infamous item from the Mario Kart games that targets players in first place. It also does a couple little circles around the target and then blows up like it does in the later games. But things go south and Mario and DK get swallowed by a mall ray that is specifically modeled after the Mario Odyssey version. Later, as Peach approaches Bowser's airship, we see Super Bell trees from Super Mario 3D World and the flowers that are adorably planted in little red brick blocks. When telling Peach about the star, Bowser says, "We will be invincible," which clearly has a double meaning here. We get to the wedding and King Bob-omb and King Boo from Super Mario 64 are both on the guest list. Peach wears a wedding dress similar to her one in Odyssey with an added peachy color at the bottom. At the same time, DK and Mario team up to fight their way towards the wedding, and as it enters a side-scroller view, we get about 8 million more songs and moves straight out of the games. The way Mario runs with his arms out, him hitting the blocks underneath enemies, Donkey Kong's forward air attack, Mario's ground pound, and if we look in the background, we can see a shop sign that has the same Super Mario 3 treasure chest symbol that was over at the ATMs earlier. Mario transforms into Tanuki Mario, first seen in Super Mario Mario Bros. 3 and takes to the skies. Eventually, the fight is taken to the human world, where we see even more Easter eggs around the city. There's a 24-hour car wash sign with a character from the arcade and NES game Balloon Fight. There's also an electronic repair shop called Discun Hardware Company, which is a reference to Discun, the mascot for the Famicom disk system in Japan. You can even see his outline on the left of the sign. We can see an ad for luck cards, which bear almost the same symbol as spade panels from Super Mario Bros. 3, in which you played a bonus game where you had to match cards. In the same shot, you can see the ad on top of the taxi says Save the Kingdom. And the subliminal messaging doesn't stop there. When Mario's beaten down and sitting in front of the broken television, the Jumpman cabinet by his side says Help me. But the tides change and Mario and Luigi get the Superstar, obtaining the same rainbow effect that the star would give you in many of the games, and the Invincibility Star theme is heard. And if you didn't stick around, there are two post-credits scenes. The first features Bowser singing a reprise to Peaches, now held in a cage in Peach's castle, and the second revealing a cracking Yoshi egg that's in the same sewers as the beginning of the movie, solidifying that Yoshi will indeed be in the next movie. And that, my friends, is what we could find from our initial viewings of the movie. I personally can't wait for a sequel, and I'm still crossing my fingers that we'll get a Galaxy plotline in the second one. What would y'all want to see in a sequel? Leave it in the comments. Until then, you can follow me on Twitter at @It'sAnnaVanston and follow and subscribe to New Rockstars at New Rockstars for more breakdowns of everything you love. Celebration dance time! DK! Donkey Kong! DK! Donkey Kong is here!